Special event alert.
I thought there was going to be a 2-hour weather delay, but there wasn't, which is excuse number 43 for being late for Changeover, your weekly space news and variety show. I'm your host, Marty Smith, and I'm joined by our man in the closet, Jake Wall.
Good to see you guys as always.
And Mr. History, Eric Perrott.
Gentlemen, glad to be here.
We're here to bring you the latest headlines and updates pertinent to all Guardians and to the other lower branches as well. So take your seats, get informed, and have a laugh as we present Late for Changeover.
Late for Changeover. I like it.
Oh, and there was much rejoicing.
For being late.
Good to see you guys. Anna, wherever you are, get back. She's traveling back from Boston.
We miss you, Anna. Hurry up.
Might be a weather delay.
Or she may be back and just is playing this fictitious trip out so she doesn't have to do the podcast. I'm not sure which one.
I don't think
Is it
so.
snowing up there for you guys?
No,
it's
but
been
it's cold as
Oh.
hell, man.
it's been dusting all day.
It's been
Like
dusting all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm praying
know
for
if-
that 2-hour weather delay.
Buckley already sent it out. And this is what
Oh,
they
what?
said. Delayed start, 9 a.m. Like,
Yeah.
what kind of delayed start is that?
No, they are getting strict, like don't arrive before 9 a.m. at or 9:30.
Wow.
The last time, a couple of weeks ago, when Buckley did this and they had a delayed start, and they were like, okay, 10 o'clock. You can't come no earlier than 10 o'clock. So everyone on the base came at 10 o'clock.
Yeah,
And I was like,
exactly. 10:01.
yeah. And it was 45 minutes in the line. And I was like,
To get in?
this was
Ooh.
dumb. Why did you
4 to
phase
5
it
minutes
in?
isn't that bad.
Not 4 to 5.
I know.
45, dickhead.
Especially if it's as cold as it was today, man. Shit.
Yeah.
Jesus,
Ooh.
Dude, that false spring got me. I fell for it, man.
suckered us every
I
year.
was out riding my bicycle
Yeah.
around all
Yeah,
last
so did
week.
I.
We're good.
18
the
hole shorts, baby.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
And
Awesome.
they're like,
Boom.
nope, no more of that shit.
I
Uncle
played
Tom
Red Hawk,
feels a dick face.
Red Hawk Ridge on Thursday, played Kennedy on Friday. It was awesome. And then fucking the weather came in. Done.
Well, so sorry for you. God, I hate it. I'm so tired of working. I swear to God, I'm so tired of working.
I hear you, man.
My
My last year that I worked, every Sunday night rolled around. I'm like, ugh, really? I don't want to. I mean, it was terrible. I hated it.
and it's not necessarily the work.
It's not-
it's like
it's not
answering
the job
to people
or the
and
work.
It's like, oh God, yeah. Like, hey, what'd you do? Did you write that report up? No, I didn't write that report up. Well, I need to. You got to write this. You got to format.
I don't like the fact that I have to, like, 3 months before I go on any trip, they're like, you better fill out all this stuff. Go
Yeah,
on all this
It's
training.
still the
do
same,
on all,
right?
and then they're like, as soon as you get back, they're like, did you fill all this stuff back? Did you do it? I'm like, nothing's different, dudes. And it's not like, and I go back and I start doing my SF86 or whatever.
Mhm.
None of that's in there.
No.
None of it. So I'm like, what the heck is the point of this?
Right. It's just the little annoyances are
Yeah, I'm
Hard to
still
take.
answering to the man.
hard to take. Right?
As you get closer, what I will tell you, as you get closer and older, it's much harder for them to piss you off because you go, "Hey, did you do that report? No.
No,
You gonna do that report? I don't know. I
no.
don't know.
Well,
You gonna fire me? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't care.
What are you gonna do about
What are
it?
you gonna do? I don't care.
Yeah,
You
it would
know
be
I
nice.
don't need this job, right?
I don't care. I'm good.
Like I said before, if I had managed my money, I wouldn't need the job, but I do need the job.
I
So
hear
I
you.
still gotta, and that's what's even more annoying. It's like, I'm talking to like engineer leads who are 20 years younger than me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know you're very, very smart, but you still have no idea how to manage people.
No, no.
I'm not online. I'm right in front of you. Talk to me like I'm right in front of you.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't look you in the eye. I gotta.
Literally, I'm like, did you go down and talk to him? Well,
I sent him a
him
chat.
an email.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, they're literally like right below us on the next floor down.
It's better this way. It's better if I just send
No.
electronically.
Go down there. Hey, man, what's going on? Did you get this? How's it going? Oh, that's the update? Okay.
Jake sounds like he's still enjoying working. You just enjoy working, don't you?
Yes, I do. I love it.
Good answer, my brother.
All right, so
I look at my retirement numbers every other day.
Oh my God, I wish I'm so. Oh, it's just all it is like, how small of a house can I move into and endure for the next 10, 15 years?
Survive.
Do it.
Should I just go into an apartment building? Should I just, buy into some pseudo assisted living thing and just go like, hey, this room is great. I can put my podcast here and I can sleep right here.
What your wife wants, or if you want to keep your wife.
Then I guess I'm working for the next 10
years. There you go.
Yeah, well, there you go, honey.
I don't know. Like having the kids 1 week on, 1 week off, I just realize how much little space I use.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like I'm sitting here going, I sit in that living room. I go to the kitchen, my room, clearly my closet. And the bathroom. That's it.
Right.
Like that's it. I'm like,
600 square feet.
Are you ever reminded like, why am I vacuuming? I haven't walked into this part of the house in like a month.
Marty, here's how bad it is. I have a cleaning lady that comes once a month.
Oh, look at you.
Bougie. Contrary to the self-dyed shirt. Bougie. Right?
All right.
But she cleans the guest bedroom. And I'm like, why do you do that? There's no one been in there like since my mom and Rick left. And I cleaned, I did the sheets and I swept and I mopped after that. There's no reason to go in there. Just save yourself. I'll still pay you the same amount. I don't care. Just don't waste your effort.
Save some effort.
Yeah. Put a little more effort on vacuuming the walk-in spaces. Yeah.
Dude, Mr. Put some effort on the damage I did in my
trash can. Still empty in here. Trash can still. Same bag.
Same bag, Glenda.
Jake, do you have an age? Do you have an age that you want to punch?
50.
50? Oh,
yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, man, that'd be awesome.
Because that Audrey will have graduated already. So that's
right.
That's kind of really the only thing I'm holding on for.
Right.
But okay, so financially you're secure because if you take anything out of a 401 before 59 and a half, you get penalized.
Yeah.
You're good then. Okay.
But financially, I've been living on so little. And
because you own your house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I literally pocket like 30% of my paycheck. And I pay off mom's mortgage. So mom's mortgage is the only repeating bill that I still have. So
you guys are
well, I think you're a good shape.
I look up to you so much. So kids,
I'm like 8 years younger than you.
Don't follow my example.
You just couldn't put down the dice. That's all it was.
Yeah, I wish it was. I wish I would have had funds with all the money I owe. Shit. Anyway, speaking of dice, I did place a bet and I won on the Super Bowl this week.
Nice.
Right? Oh, very nice.
However, some people can't go see sporting events when they're out in the field or they're deployed. This story from Task and Purpose had a good first sergeant who helped his soldiers out. So this guy set up a Super Bowl party out in the field.
I like that first sergeant, man. That's a good dude.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's a good dude.
Millions tuned in from sports bars and living rooms on Sunday to watch Super Bowl licks.
Yeah.
I heard that the other day and I didn't even realize it. Super Bowl licks. At the same time, soldiers in C Company, 3rd Battalion, 15th Infantry Regiment were in field training at Fort Stewart, Georgia, when the first sergeant surprised them with a watch party projected on the side of a light medium tactical vehicle.
That a boy?
Yeah, he had them out there. They were out there doing tank tables, which takes a while because they gotta pull up, they gotta fire basically all these different types of engagements, and it takes several days. So they were out there, shitty scheduling, right, to pull them out on the field. And
Super Bowl.
Hey, Sergeant, first sergeant, like, shut up, get on the tank. So, but First Sergeant James Welch arranged this whole thing. He picked up pizza, soda, and game day snacks for the company under the guise of a chow run. So for you guys in the Army,
Nice.
the first sergeant's the one who goes back to supply or the rear to get chow. So
that's pretty cool.
He
man.
kept the whole thing a secret. Only a few headquarters staff knew, and we wanted to genuinely surprise our soldiers and show our appreciation in an unexpected way. And he was getting cursed that whole run. He was like, "After we're out here during the Super Bowl."
Yep.
So the soldiers had an unexpected interruption in training after finishing gunnery qualification, during which 5 crews qualified on the M1A2 Abrams, and were about to start another round of training. Then First Sergeant pulled up. He set up the makeshift theater. He used his own personal projector, laptop, and a reliable internet connection. I don't know why you say reliable.
Yeah. You know why? Look at that picture. That camouflage thing in the front looks exactly like a Starlink.
Oh, didn't even think of that. Yeah. Very good, man. Very good.
That's cool.
And then he projected it up on the LMTV. So,
when I was deployed, they would put it, we had a couple times where we were actually put the Super Bowl in, but it was late at night for us or early in the morning, whenever. But you never got anything out of the field. If you were working, you were done. You were stuck.
Yeah, right.
But for everybody else, hey, you can get up and come in. We'll put it up. So that's pretty good, though. There,
we were out in the field training up for like an NTC deployment or something like that. So we were like way behind. They had to get all this field time in, and so we were out in the field for Super Bowls Sunday out in Fort Hood, Texas. They wouldn't let us come back in because we were already out there. So these guys these comm guys set up. I don't know if you've ever seen them. There's some physics behind it where they set this extra long like antenna wire up and it can get certain wavelengths or something like that. I don't know how they did it, but they got basically Armed Forces radio out there in the field. Playing over the radio speaker, so we got to listen to it.
Oh, that's better.
Which was really pretty cool, actually. Yeah. That was pretty cool. So, I think that was one of the. I think that was one of the Giants Super Bowls way back when, but I can't remember which one. So,
well, that's a damn good first sergeant taking care of his people there.
I agree.
Heck yeah, man.
That's really cool. That's a rarity.
Those first sergeants and those chaplains like that.
Chaplains do that too. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's pretty cool.
I think I've told you guys a couple of times that chaplain on the flight line was awesome. We had one chaplain.
Where was that at? What was the location?
Up in Alaska. He would literally roll out, and he had like 3 or 4 chaplain assistants, but he would roll out in his chaplain truck, and he would just drive right onto the flight line, and then he would set up cones around, and then it was like, chaplain designated no play zone, and he would just start handing out sandwiches and stuff.
Oh, really?
And you could come into the no play zone and take off your mask or take off your vest and
have a sandwich. That's great. Yeah,
he was just making up his own rules, but nobody's going to be like, chaplain, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, who's going to push back on the chaplain? Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Good
but
stuff.
those are what I mean. You remember those things more than
a
lot of the other stuff. So
yep.
So good on you, First Sergeant Welch.
I like it. It's a
now,
shame the game wasn't better.
Oh, that was a good game.
It depends on
I
your
wanted to be
perspective.
closer. That's all. I still think Philadelphia we should have won, and I'm glad they did. But I thought it'd be closer. I
I
wanted
thought
to
it
go
would
into
be
that
too.
fourth quarter. Who's going to have the ball last
Oh,
kind of
man.
thing.
I
Oh,
was
that-
scared going into the fourth quarter still. I was like,
Yeah.
Mahomes has the ability to pull some crap out of his butt
Yeah.
They did.
and
but
do a hurry up offense.
The team looked tired. They looked out coached. They it's like they couldn't figure out that defense. I don't know
That
what it was.
defensive line was just destroying him.
Yeah, that
That
was
was
Smoked 'em.
fantastic.
That was absolutely.
Yeah.
Um,
Have you seen all the videos of Philly though?
no,
Just
I saw one.
destroyed.
I saw one where the guy's like, "Where'd they get the horses?" And the guys
Dude.
were riding horses down the
Cop
street
horses.
in Philly.
Really, I
They
haven't
look
seen
like
anything on it.
They looked like police horses.
I don't know.
Oh.
Maybe they took them from the police,
I
but
was
they were look like drunk fans riding horses in the streets.
people
of Philly.
carrying like 3 people carrying whole phone poles.
Oh, geez.
Oh,
They
I didn't see that.
tore
No, I
shit
didn't
up,
see
did
that.
they?
Oh, they just destroyed things. Destroyed things. It's like a hobby now.
It's so silly. We win. Let's go take out
Destroy
our city.
shit.
I don't understand it because they got to pay for it.
Yeah.
It's not like the city's going to be like, well, where are we going to get the money? Oh, a little taxes.
Yeah. Hello, you're paying for
Yeah.
that.
Guess potholes aren't getting filled in.
Did you? Well, let me ask this: Did you get the halftime show? This is how I know I was really old, right? Because I had some people work there like, no, that was a really deep halftime show. I was like, it was
good.
it was noise. I didn't know what the hell he's talking about.
Okay.
I don't listen to his music, but they're like, oh, there was some real messages in it, and they went into the whole, and I was like, God dang,
I didn't get any
I
of it.
am old. I mean, I don't know any of that.
Well,
pop
those two
stuff,
have been,
you know.
him and Drake have been going back and forth for a minute, and then Kendrick Lamar released that album, and it was just all trash talking Drake.
Yeah, that's insane.
And then
he won
having two
he
of
won a
his
Grammy
ex girlfriends
for it,
on, yeah, like both, like what was
Yeah,
it?
was it Serena Williams?
was one.
Serena
Yeah.
was his ex girlfriend. I think he had relations with the other lady that sang with him. Was
The
SZA?
redhead.
Oh, SZA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
SZA.
Yeah.
Yep.
I took the
And he-
opportunity to eat some dinner. I didn't even watch it.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
this is too much
Yeah.
for me. But it's
Accusing
not
him of
like
being
if they'd
touching little
recycled.
kids.
I didn't know any of that stuff, but I know about it now. But
Well, and change subject real quick. Grammys, Beyonce getting freaking country album of the year.
Yep,
well,
definitely.
all those awards are
Well
paid for.
worth it.
They're bought and paid for. So
Just make my head itch. I was like, well, okay, whatever.
John Denver won, so
All
about the
right,
same.
whatever.
don't you besmirch the great John Denver. He's a national hero.
Besmirch the precious name.
All right, so let's go on to one of Trump's ideas. Right?
Oh,
And it's pretty over the top.
well, he's got a bunch of them.
He does. Well, this is
Ideas
one that's
are
going to
over the
affect
top.
us Guardians, maybe, right?
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah,
from
this
defensenews.com, this is a follow-up article. There was obviously the main article where Trump proposed the Iron Dome, but now there's some senators who are putting some detail into the desired missile defense elements for Trump's Iron Dome.
Ooh.
Right. Now, first off, I mean, if you go back to Reagan, right, with Star Wars or the I can't remember the exact initiative it was. Oh, SDI, right?
Yes.
Strategic Defense Initiative. And the concept behind that was like, hey, if we got something that'll keep all missiles out, then that we just made all their ICBMs obsolete. I get it, right? I get it.
Yeah.
And we're, MDA still trying to move that way, the Missile Defense Agency. Well, why not throw something out here, even if you get a little bit of it? Okay, maybe not weaponizing space, but maybe you get some other stuff. So, President Donald Trump's executive order to develop a next-generation homeland missile defense shield marks a shift in the United States' long-standing homeland missile defense strategy, which is focused on threats from rogue nations like North Korea and Iran rather than from peer adversaries like China or Russia. The order, titled the Iron Dome for America. I love that he names stuff like we would name stuff. If we were
America.
sitting around having a beer, it's
America.
like, called Iron Dome. That's what we're going with, right?
He saw what Israel had, and he's like, "That's cool. I want one."
I'm going to call it that. I'm going to call it that. We're going to put it right at the top of the Gulf of America.
There it is.
Yeah.
Great idea.
But it's so much more fun. I mean, whether it's dumb or ridiculous or a great idea, it's so out there, and I love the disruptor part of it. So, two Republican senators have introduced legislation that would establish more detailed plans for President Trump's new missile defense shield for the homeland, to include resurrecting several previously proposed plans and capabilities that were either canceled or placed on the back burner over the last decade. In the bill submitted on February 5th by Senators Dan Sullivan, Republican from Alaska, and Kevin Kramer, Republican from North Dakota, the senators lay out a plan for missile defense for the continental U.S. that they would include Aegis A-shore systems. So I think it's that Aegis system they just took off the battleship and plopped down. I think one's in Poland right now. Can't remember what the other one is. Poland and Romania. So it's basically just to shoot the SM-3s, right? That's essentially the shoot the SM-3s. The plan also calls for using blimps for detection of complex threats, expanding the current ground-based mid-course defense system, or GMD, at Fort Greely, Alaska, and adding a brand new interceptor site on the East Coast. Furthermore, the order revives the pursuit of space-based interceptors for missile defense, a concept that has been scrapped multiple times in recent history due to technological challenges and high costs associated with the development.
But I have Elon Musk.
Well, that's true. That's true.
I was like, okay, maybe until that space-based interceptor thing is. Because once again, it's a matter of perspective. If you could shoot something down from space, you literally have missiles or some sort of object that can come back down and has a very high skill in targeting things, right?
Sure.
That could also, from Russia or China's perspective, if you're going to shoot a missile down, it would be incredibly easy to shoot a stagnant city.
Well, yeah.
And then you're going to just start the freaking nuclear arms race all over again.
Right. I don't think Russia could keep up with it because they're broke.
No, but
they got a lot going on.
But in that case,
but you're
desperation.
Right. Yeah,
you're like, well, like Japan doing the calculations in World War II, might as well mess some crap up right now while I got fuel before the embargo kicks in.
But they're already talking about not even putting up weapons, but just deorbiting shit, right? We've done the stories where they're like, oh, we're going to put it up there and we can deorbit it whenever we want. It's not a weapon.
Okay.
It may fall on you, but it's not.
We've all heard that statement and all seen those gung-ho officers were like, well, we just got rods from gods. We're good.
Right.
And you're like, no, that is not good, dude.
Well, this goes back to the old thing when they outlawed white phosphorus by like Geneva Convention. Can't use it against troops. It's like, oh, but I can use it against their equipment, like their LVEs and their packs. But I'm not using it against the troops. Yeah. So it's the same philosophy as like, it's just kinetic. It's not anything that blows up. So it's just kinetic.
Well, and I think right now the focus would be from ground-based, not space-based.
Right. They'll never get that technology. Hell, Boeing can't even get back up there and get their own people.
We need to do another Sonny and Butch.
I know. One of the things they're saying with putting blimps up there I found this part funny. This may mean a revival of the Raytheon Joint Land Attack Cruise Missile Defense Elevated Netted Sensor System, or JLENS, as it is better known. So here's what JLENS was. Look at that.
Yeah, that's
Oh, man, that's a well-hung blimp.
Yes, it is. It's called an aerostat.
So bulbous.
It was designed all over. It's bulbous everywhere, right? That particular one you're looking at is a male. It comes.
I was about to say, it looks like a male.
That's a veiny little bastard too.
That's a male that has to get something lanced, because that's just way too out of proportion.
Yeah.
But the Raytheon-made aerostat, which you're looking at, was designed to work in a pair, one with a fire control system and the other with powerful surveillance sensors, capable of tracking swarming boats and vehicles and detecting and tracking cruise missile threats from Boston all the way to Norfolk, Virginia. So like half the coastline over there.
That's impressive.
Is it manned or unmanned?
Unclear.
Okay.
But 3 years ago, this program,
you got a peephole right in the very tip of that thing.
That's how you enter and exit.
Binoculars.
Look like Jim Carrey in the Rhino.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming out the backside.
We got a lot of boats out here, guys. What do you say? Oh, a lot of boats. Oh, okay.
3 years ago, this aerostat, the JLENS, broke free from its mooring station near Baltimore and took a 3-hour jaunt through the skies of Pennsylvania, dragging its several thousand-foot tether, which hit power lines along the way and caused significant power outages.
Ooh.
This blimp ultimately landed in a grove of trees in the countryside, where Pennsylvania state troopers were ordered to open fire on the blimp to deflate it. Just fire at will, baby.
Aim for the vein, boys. Aim for the vein.
Why would you have to shoot it down? I mean,
well, it landed. I guess they were trying to deflate it. Yeah, it's not going to take off again, right?
Yeah.
It might have gusted back up.
That could be. It was canceled during its operational exercise at Aberdeen Proving Ground following that incident. So maybe they bring that back, and they're like, "Hey, let's give that another whirl."
I'm trying to figure out why you'd need a blimp when you've got all these unmanned, higher technology drones.
Well, but a blimp could probably loiter for longer. It's fairly unpowered. It's just kind of up there. I guess. I don't know.
And I would assume unmanned then.
It would make sense, right?
Yeah.
You just put it up there and let it float around for a while. Hell, the Chinese traversed our entire country with their balloons. So
true. Drop some garbage.
Can't do that. Drop some garbage.
Drop some garbage.
Trump's Iron Dome executive order also included a renewed pursuit of space-based interceptors. The bill would support that effort in addition to continuing to pursue a robust space-based threat detection layer.
Ooh.
The bill also requires a Missile Defense Agency to accelerate the development of its glide phase interceptor. The agency chose Northrop Grumman over Raytheon in September to build an interceptor capable of defeating hypersonic weapons in the boost phase of flight. The decision also came earlier than originally planned. They're like, "Hey, get on this." Like, "Oh shit, we didn't think we'd win."
The technology is pretty amazing with what we're talking about contemplating doing.
It is, but can they get there?
Yeah,
that's the whole thing. I don't know if they can get there. Hell, even our ground-based interceptors are not the most reliable yet, but we got them. We'll see what goes on with GMD, ground mid-course. What does that stand for, Jake? GMD, ground mid-course defense system, I think. So, anyway,
I was just looking up where the boost phase of the hypersonic was.
Is that on the initial takeoff?
Yeah, that's basically shooting it down over foreign countries.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Right. Right. So,
But that's what they were talking about. So that other article I read was that's where they wanted to do the space-based interception from.
Not
to
over
try to
us.
get it
Fire.
Boost or just right there after boost.
yeah,
like,
because once it goes into glide, it's so
Yeah,
fast we're never going to
yeah.
catch it, right? So,
Yep.
and it's maneuverable, so we can't chase it down.
Yep.
So interesting. Maybe a lot of contracts coming out there, I suppose.
I think you just throw a bunch of Air Force cops out there with some Stinger missiles.
Good to
We'll
go.
shoot 'em
That
down.
they
We'll shoot
fire
'em
all you
once
need.
a year, and only one
they're
out
selected.
of 5 have selected.
Yeah. You ever
They're
make those old
selected.
potato launchers? That's basically what you guys
There
are
you go.
doing.
Yeah, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Putting half a potato, like, okay, fire. Boom.
So
Yeah.
that's another bonus to the bunghole that guy sticks out. It's
Yeah.
not just binoculars.
It's a
He's
potato
got a
launcher.
potato launcher too. And this thing is just shooting projectiles downward, shooting projectiles.
That's awesome.
Nice.
God, I wish we could write skits. That would be hilarious.
Winging it so much better.
Usually we laugh on this show, and I do love to laugh. But actually, I thought this was good that we would cover some important stories. I think, right? So I think a
Sure.
lot of this stuff is out there. But let's talk the VA and drugs. So here are 2
Drugs and
stories
VA.
from Task and Purpose that almost came out the same day, and they're related. But the first story talks about this guy. What is his name? I can't remember his name. But after Derek Blumke, so after kicking 6 different meds, this veteran now studies over medication in VA care. So Derek Blumke was on a cocktail of 6 different meds prescribed by doctors with the VA. It was 2017. The 12-year veteran of the Air Force and Michigan Air National Guard was taking Adderall for ADHD, Ambien for insomnia, gabapentin for anxiety, and
my
3
goodness.
others. Yeah. He said, my life was now on fire. My startup company in rubble, and I was struggling to keep a job and maintain my sanity. Instead of looking at the list of meds I was already prescribed, the VA psychiatrist said, let's try an antidepressant. So they added Zoloft to him, right? For a year and a half, while
trying to create an active shooter? What is going on here?
No
like
doubt.
Adderall is basically meth.
Right.
Ambien is to bring
Right.
him down from the meth high.
Right.
Like
Gabapentin
what?
is, it's many things, but I guess for anxiety, I never knew it was for anxiety.
I've never tried that. I wonder if I could get a sample. Talk to my VA. I saw a commercial. I need this.
Blumke took Zoloft, an antidepressant medication, for a year and a half. While coming off Zoloft, Blumke had an array of symptoms, flu-like symptoms, feeling like the room was spinning, brain zaps, and missing gaps of time.
Yeah, crap.
Yeah. Frustrated by his doctor's approach, Blumke started studying the issue of overprescription when doctors inappropriately or excessively prescribe pharmaceuticals in lieu of other treatments. What Blumke has found, is a gap in federal data that lawmakers have been trying to close for years. The VA does not maintain a system that tracks whether or not a vet who dies by suicide while under VA care may have been overprescribed pharmaceuticals.
Ooh. Jesus.
Yeah, no wonder. Why would they want to track that?
Exactly. Why would they, right? But they don't track it, so there's no data.
Right? But as soon as they
Zero
track
data.
it, they're like, oh.
Ooh.
Someone's going to jail is
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm going to get another job.
Yeah.
So
Someone's going to
maybe
jail.
I'll take that Trump 8-month thing. Is
yeah,
it too late?
The buyout.
Yeah.
So Blumke, this guy, now investigates overprescription and other relevant data
Nice.
as a fellow with the Grunt Style Foundation. Representatives Vern Buchanan, a Republican out of Florida, and Jerry Connolly, a Democrat out of Virginia, and other members of Congress have introduced the Veteran Over-Medication and Suicide Prevention Act 4 times since 2019, at some points gaining just over a dozen sponsors. A version of the measure was introduced in 2016 by the late Republican Senator John McCain from Arizona. So they've been trying to pass this legislation. It didn't go into what it was, but they've been trying to get this through Congress, and they can't get it through.
Jeez.
You would think, though, if the guy was like, hey, I'm taking too many meds, I wonder what the cost of cutting out 5 of the 6 meds and introducing mandatory counseling,
right,
or something else.
Right.
Therapeutic therapy.
I mean, it's got to be saving money.
Well, true. But it's got to also be a combination of a million different factors. Probably one of them is like there's so many patients backed up. That's probably the easiest thing. Just like, here you go. Here you go. Next. You know, there's that. But we've seen they can't control it. They can't account for their money. They can't account for their equipment. Why would they account for their drugs?
Yeah. But we've seen active duty people literally go to rehab. There were 2 of them in our last squadron, Marty.
Yeah.
That had to go to rehab because of doctor prescribed medicine.
Over prescription.
Sure.
Yeah, like it was back pain or something legitimate, and then it turned into it's still ongoing, and then
that's a perfect lead into this next story. But let me close out what this guy said. It's not enough to just know the number of veteran suicide deaths, which is tragically high. We must understand whether there's a relationship between treatment methods and suicide. The new data generated from this legislation will be used to better treat veterans suffering from both mental and physical injuries moving forward. So that's what the legislation is designed to do. Now,
there's got to be a correlation between overprescribed and suicide.
Well,
I think there's got to be a piece.
I agree, and you
half
combine that.
Those medicines have
suicide warning.
Suicidal thoughts. Please contact your doctor.
Yeah,
okay,
that's right.
And the first number on any healthcare phone line, even active duty,
suicide,
VA, that first thing that comes up: English, Spanish, suicide prevention.
Sure.
Like, are your thoughts of harming yourself?
I salute them for doing that. But when I was on opioids for my prosthetic, right? My amputation.
Fun.
And that scared the shit out of me because I was so scared of it. I was like, get me off of this thing. But I couldn't, there were times at night I was like, I can't sleep without it. Right.
Yeah.
So when those, I haven't been there, fortunately, but I imagine when those thoughts creep up, they sneak up on you and you're like, why am I thinking this? You don't realize you're not coordinating the two.
Sure.
Or if you are coordinated too, it's like, I know I'm probably thinking this because of this drug, but I'm thinking it.
Yeah.
You're not, you can't talk yourself. I was like, it's okay, Marty. You're just on the drugs. Oh, good. That's
I'm normal. Oh,
yeah. Yeah. So when that stuff takes
it doesn't make your thoughts any different.
It doesn't. Right.
That's the problem.
Well, let me ask you this. I want to ask you this.
Yeah, go.
He's been put on 6 pretty heavily induced drugs. I'm thinking you, me, Jake, I would have said, time out. I'm on this. What do you mean I need to be on 4 others? Explain it to me.
Wow,
Let me understand. I mean, a rational person would step back and go, how are these interacting? What are the frickin', side effects from mixing all of this crap?
But once again, though, Marty said it, like he might, he is definitely feeling something.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right. So that getting rid of that feeling or getting through the pain or sleeping or something like that, he's willing to do anything to try to fix that.
Yeah.
It's a shame it went that far.
Well,
it's
but
not
if you're,
if
you're in pain, you're just like, God, I just need something for this, okay, this will help you. All right. So, that feels a little better, but now I'm feeling this. And I don't want to minimize because we've all known people who have been on a ton of drugs, and they're in their right minds, but they're like, he says this is for this, and this is for this, and this is for this, and this is for this.
Yeah.
And you're like, I mean, who wants to just like, you don't need any of that. Go off of all of it.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, well, I would like to sleep at night and not, go out
Feel
of my
the pain
mind.
or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I mean, I get it, but it's
a tough one. It's a vicious thing. And if
It's
you
gotta
don't,
be like an
especially
advocate.
imagine if you're just by yourself, right?
Yeah.
You don't have a wife, you don't have a girlfriend, you don't have a husband or
Somebody,
whatever.
an advocate that talks for you. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to stare at the walls at night. It's just like, oh God. So
Yeah, that's tough.
but that leads into this next story, also from Task and Purpose, where they discovered that, well, not discovered, but they did a study, and they're like, 2 medications often prescribed together by the VA led to higher mortality risk. Now,
Wow.
this may be obvious to us now, but maybe it's the point of bringing a study out so it informs the vets so they can go in a little bit better prepared, right? Veterans who were co-prescribed an opioid, I'm going to screw this name up all the time, and a benzodiazepine.
Benzodiazepine.
By doctors at the Department of Veterans Affairs face an increased mortality risk, a new report found. Opioids are typically prescribed for pain. Benzos like Valium, Xanax, and Klonopin can be prescribed for anxiety, panic disorders, insomnia, and seizures.
Wow.
The National Academy of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine study analyzed VA health records from 2007 to 2019 at the request of Congress to, quote, evaluate the effects of prescribed opioid and benzo pharmacotherapies on all-cause mortality of U.S. veterans, including suicide. The risk of death for co-prescriptions of opioids and benzos has been widely accepted by health experts and federal agencies. According to the National Institutes of Health, the combination of opioids along with other central nervous system depressants such as benzodiazepines, alcohol, or xylazine increases the risk of an overdose and can cause sedation and suppress breathing.
Oh, Jesus.
The study also found that veterans were at greater risk if they had received opioid and benzo prescriptions compared to veterans who were co-prescribed alternatives for opioids or benzos. Derek Blumke, the guy we just talked about in the previous article, an Air Force veteran and researcher who studies overprescription, told Task and Purpose that the VA only began referencing veteran benzo use in its suicide report in 2024.
Oh my God.
Dude,
We're a little
of the
behind the
main-
power curve.
Literally, I just looked up benzo's side effects.
Yeah.
And it was just, it slows down activity in the brain and the nervous system. Can you imagine combining that with an opioid, which slows down everything more too?
And
I guess
you're lucky to make it through the night.
Benzos are incredibly easy to get addicted to and incredibly difficult to get off of.
Great. So are opioids.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So are opioids. So, according to the annual suicide report released in December, suicide rates among veterans experiencing sedative use disorder, often associated with the misuse of substances such as benzos, increased by 29.2%. Jeez.
There's the number.
And the Department of Veterans Affairs did not immediately respond to a request for comment on this story.
I wonder why.
God dang, man. I used to when I was taking care of my dad the last couple of years, I used to go into his doctor's office and record it, right? Because I can never remember what they say. It all sounds good, and you walk out, and 10 minutes later, you're like, I don't remember what
he
the hell
said.
that guy says. So I would record it. He had a good doctor, but just like I had any medical background, which I don't, and I didn't know to go, hey, I'm not sure if you want to take this and this together, Dad. But nowadays, if you can't rely on the docs to go, oh, I should prescribe both of these together, and they're just going to give them out like Motrin.
Yeah.
And it's hopefully maybe the story makes some vets think twice, but At the same time, I know the VA will hit you up with, oh, you're non-compliant or you're you're not following
You're not
doctor's
agreeing
orders.
with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. And then he has no rights. Right? What does he do? Right? He's like, I'm not sure I want to take a opioid and a benzo, you know. So how do you push back without the doctor going, oh, you're just not compliant?
As lame as it sounds, that's why they call it a practice, because they don't really freaking know.
Sure.
Like,
But
truly.
if that's all you got,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and he's telling you to do this, and like, okay, can I drink with this? And he's like, no. Like, well, I have a drinking
can
problem.
you imagine that?
You know?
Go get the second opinion is what
Opioid, a benzo, and
some alcohol.
alcohol.
Yeah,
Ooh.
easy. Done. Right?
Done. Like, you're just, if your brain doesn't shut off, you're just gonna stop breathing.
Yeah.
And God forbid you are inclined that way, you know, towards a suicide ideation. That would be the easiest suicide you could ever do.
Be walked right into it, man.
They're just
Here, let me hold your hand.
All I do is I take a few drinks, you know, I drink this fifth and see you later.
Yeah.
You don't have to buy a gun. You don't have to do a rope. That's easy.
It's prescribed too.
Yeah, it's prescribed. So yeah, that's scary. That's kind of a crappy thing. I hate to do those kind of stories, but I think they're important to try to get it out there.
Yeah.
I mean, we chuckle about some of this stuff, but for the most part, that's very serious, man.
Oh yeah.
Think about what the hell's going on before you agree to this stuff.
And in the past, it seems like, the doctor won't tell me bad stuff. You know, he won't put me on a bad course. Maybe inadvertently they do.
Yeah, they're not perfect.
So it pays to know a little bit about what you're going in and what they want you to do. So
it's not a perfect science, man.
All right. Well, let's get Jake angry. So, what do you think of that new sick death?
You know, from strictly saying, from a combat perspective, having that guy who's been on the ground and understands the grunt, I'm all about it.
I like
but from a strategic thinking, big picture, that worries me. Now, if he brings in good people around me who can give me advice on that strategic thinking,
right,
okay, yeah, his inexperience is, but sure, I guess, I mean, if you want to shake things up, then get a junior level individual's point of view.
Well, I mean,
and why not a chance?
Because we all know most of the leadership is yes men most of the time.
Yep.
Coming up, and then
well,
they've just been ingrained in the system.
Who was SecDef that before? Lloyd Austin.
Lloyd Austin.
Where did he come from? Raytheon.
Yeah. Right.
Which is not. No, I'm not saying that was any better at all.
Yeah, he's coming out of Stark Industries, right? And he's like, I'm in charge now, baby. Let's get some rockets going. So
I'm all about giving a guy a chance. Because when you talk about the swamp and them people that have been in there for 70 freaking years,
oh God,
you gotta go. You got your chance. Get the hell out.
Yeah.
How many more senators and congressmen we're just gonna have blank out when they're giving speeches? I mean, that's disturbing to see.
Yeah,
you know, and he's just like not talking. And you're like, would somebody just go help the guy? All right,
yeah,
God,
please.
Hey.
Get medical up there.
You know, who cares if it's a hit
public
on the
opinion?
ego?
Get that man some
walk him
help.
away from the podium. It's like we can all see it. Don't pretend like it's not happening. My God,
he can't go up the steps himself. He can't.
He can't. Yeah, the guy froze giving a speech in Congress.
He's doing resets up there. You're like,
jeez, man.
Yeah,
that's scary. I wish they would do term limits. I mean, I think everybody in America, except for Congress, wishes they did term.
Yeah, he glitches out more more than my Xfinity connection, man. It's fucking ridiculous.
I hate Xfinity too, man.
Yeah.
So I'm with it too, and government was supposed to be that, right? You're supposed to come and serve, and then go back to the private sector. You know, I'm all for that too. So anyway. Pete Hegseth, This one. Where's this story from? Oh, Task and Purpose. Boy, I'm really selling the website today.
Yeah.
So, from Task and Purpose, Hegseth indicates that Fort Bragg will not be the last base to be renamed. And as you guys know, they went ahead and renamed at least Fort Bragg for now. But Hegseth is saying there's more. Now, don't shake your head. Let me get to the twist in the story first, Jake. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth vowed Tuesday that returning the name Fort Bragg to a major Army base in North Carolina is just the start of his efforts to override name changes made to bases that once honored Confederate leaders. He said, "We're not done here. There's a reason I said Bragg and Benning when I walked into the Pentagon on day one, but it's not just Bragg and Benning. There are a lot of other service members that have connections, and we're going to do our best to restore it. It's an honor to do so." The Army changed the name of 9 bases in 2022 and 2023 following recommendations by an official naming commission. All 9 bases were originally named for generals or leaders of the Confederacy. But here's the twist, right? So they're going to rename it back, Fort Liberty, back to Bragg. But on Monday, Hegseth issued a memo to the Army Secretary directing Fort Liberty to revert to its original name. But instead of honoring a Confederate general, the name now honors Army PFC Ronald L. Bragg, spelled the same way. A paratrooper awarded the Silver Star and Purple Heart during the Battle of the Bulge in World War II.
Right on.
So Bragg's role as a paratrooper matches Fort Bragg's longtime status as a home of the airborne as a garrison of the 82nd Airborne Division. Okay, I like that.
I'm on board.
That's a good way to get around that.
Yep.
But does that mean, like, if you're going after Fort Moore to back to Fort Benning, now you got I got to find a Benning.
Now you got to find a Benning.
I'm looking for all parachute guys.
If they thought about the name change in the first place for a good hour,
yeah,
and been like, is there a way we can maybe not waste a shit ton of money? Right? Because we did an article on how much it costs to rename.
It was millions.
It was millions, multiple. It was double-digit millions.
Right.
And now it's going to be millions again to rename it because they threw those signs away.
Either they threw those signs away or they put them out by the curb. That's like free, take me.
Yeah,
guys, like
they didn't turn them into the museum for sure.
No,
right?
Well, Trump has already directed the Doge boys to come into the military and find it. So what a perfect example to go, guys. We're renaming it. We're putting new signs up. That's millions of dollars. What are we doing?
If those boys at least get rid of end of year spending, that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Good point. Good
right?
Call,
like
Jake.
that's one thing that almost every
call.
Military member is like, this is stupid.
Yeah,
Everybody,
why are we wasting
We gotta
this?
spend that money. We got to spend that money now.
Yeah. I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, I remember being in the Army when we ordered trackpads. We had trackpads piled to the ceiling because of end of year funds. And so that's been going on for decades.
All new chairs. And we got chairs. We literally got chairs last year. Now we got $500 a piece chairs.
Let's get a year's worth of toner cartridges. That's what we should have been doing.
Printer paper, toner cartridge.
Yeah.
Yes.
TDY funds.
No, we wasted it. We wasted it on dumb shit.
Chairs and office infrastructure only, not office supplies.
Right.
What does that mean? New divider walls. I don't need a new divider wall. This one's fine. It divides me from that guy. Raul can't look over here.
We got you a dry erase calendar board. One for everyone.
Yeah.
Doge needs a good enlisted dude to go in and go, this is stupid. That's stupid.
Oh, yeah.
Get rid of that.
Yeah.
No more of that. Yeah. I mean.
Well, who knows? Maybe Hegseth will be open to some of those comments from the lower enlisted.
I hope so.
I saw a thing earlier on another podcast where he's over in Germany. He went out and did PT with the troops.
Good on.
I guess he's moving on base, and then he's like, this house is a piece of shit. I need $140K to update this house.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Nice.
That was
But we're
I
not
didn't
wasting
send
money
it to you.
there.
Well, that would be a
they've
good use of
known
ending your
base housing is trash.
Yeah.
They've like every base has comments on base housing.
True.
Right.
But
Or now the chow halls. Hell, we did the story where there is no base housing.
Yep.
yeah,
Living in a trailer.
privatizing base housing was
Oh yeah.
that was
Stupid.
not a great idea. But
Stupid. So, when I saw housing being built at Schriever, and I was like, "There's no commissary out there. There's no nothing. And you're gonna make them live in this housing."
you know, that's why they moved the east gate of Peterson.
Why? What do you mean?
Because
Better
now
access.
it's close enough.
Schriever.
It's within the radius of base housing
I
at Schriever.
Yeah, I got
So it's close enough.
Yeah.
So they moved that east gate out there, and now it qualifies for base housing on Schriever.
You just have to drive on the most dangerous road in North America to actually get there. So
Yeah.
Garbage Hill is just a.
I think it's been at least a couple of years since somebody's died on that, though.
Thank God.
For a while there, it was like every other year
Constant.
at least.
But it doesn't mean that you're not
At least.
white knuckling that thing in the early morning, heading right into the sun.
Right in the sun, you can't see anything.
No.
You just gotta pray.
You
nobody
really
hits the
do it
brakes.
just like until you drop down a hill. And you're like, oh shit, my vision.
It is a perfect
Oh, my God.
east-west road, and there's a hole right at daylight savings time or right at that one specific time of year. That sun just shines directly into your face.
You peek
going
over
up
that hill, and it's
you got
it's so
nothing.
dangerous. Yeah, it's so dangerous. So we could spend some money on that, but no. So anyway, that's it's funny because if you go into some of those bases, I read a thing about Fort Hood and how bad a general Fort Hood was. I was like, how did they choose this guy to name the base after? He was terrible. So,
Well,
anyway, Eric, what do
that
you
was-
got?
I truly believe that was one of those things that were, if it wasn't broke, don't fix it.
I
It wasn't
agree.
broke.
It was such a
a name.
cave into the to the times.
Yes.
And it did nothing. It didn't. I mean,
I think it's both ways though. We literally just caved into the current times.
And we're caving the other way. Yeah.
And we're like exactly. We named it Liberty as a cave into the times.
Right.
We're now going back to Bragg as a cave into the times.
As a whiplash to whatever that was.
A tit for their tat.
Meanwhile, we're just dumping millions into change signs. And this guy's like, shit, I got to change again. Like,
that local contractor's loving it now.
Oh yeah.
He's like, you want me to do this? I literally just got done doing it.
I'd do it again.
All right.
Good point.
Yep.
Good point.
Boys, I have a.
Though. You got to recompete.
I do have a good history for you.
Yeah. Sorry, Eric.
What do you got, Eric?
You're all good. I got a good one for you. I do.
All right.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna Operation Homecoming.
Oh yeah.
More towards our time, right? Anybody know what that was?
That sounds really familiar.
Yep. It's the dance where the girls ask the guys.
Close.
Operation Sadie Hawkins.
So now that would have been a good one back when we were trying to name Operation.
Exactly.
Oh yeah,
Sadie
good
Hawkins.
point. Yeah, that's true.
Operation Prom Night, Sadie Hawkins, and Homecoming. Which one's real?
That's
so
good.
Operation Homecoming was a significant U.S. operation conducted at the conclusion of the Vietnam War to repatriate American prisoners of war held by North Vietnam.
Nice.
This operation took place from February 12th to April 1st of 1973, following the signing of the Paris Peace Accords on January 27th, 1973. It aimed to end the conflict and restore peace to Vietnam. It is often said that there were 591 POWs released during Operation Homecoming. And in fact, there were 566 U.S. military released and 25 civilians. Yeah,
566. You would think it would be more than that, but
566.
Civilians,
Well, there's a couple CIA
CIA
guys.
operatives.
Yeah, John
Air
Downey.
America.
As civilians were released, one deserves special mention. John T. Downey, a
Okay.
CIA agent, was captured by the Chinese during the Korean conflict. He was held for over 20 years in solitary from November 19th of 52 to 3 December, March 12th of 73. Dr. Kissinger, Dr. Kissinger negotiated his release as part of Operation Homecoming. 20 years.
Was all that in Korea?
Yes. Yeah, I mean during Vietnam,
okay.
he was already imprisoned.
Yeah.
So
But in Korea.
Well, correct. I think he was held in Korea. Let's see. As to this famous release, one deserves special mention.
Sorry.
Downey, a CIA agent, was captured by the Chinese during the conflict.
Oh,
He was held for over 20 years in solitary.
God bless. In solitary?
Yep. So he was in Korea and brought home as part of Operation Homecoming. Everybody was flown to Clark Air Base. Yeah. So 12 February started this little song and dance, and that's a big deal. That's the good news of the history.
That's really cool.
Bringing our guys home.
great.
You ever seen the pictures of those guys on the plane? They're all clapping as they land.
I guess not. No, I don't remember
I'm going to have to send you those. It's
right.
pretty amazing because the Vietnamese, believe it or not, North Vietnam wanted to put these guys in nice suits and ties to reflect how they were treated.
Oh.
The POW said, no. But they only pushed back so far because they didn't want to lose their freedom.
Well, sure.
So you'll notice that they were in light pants, a shirt, and just a light jacket.
No tie.
So
kidding.
no
tie
tie.
is where I draw the line.
They settled for just that, so that they would still be released, but pushed back on. You're not going to say, show the American public that you were treating us well or something.
No, you're going to be in a suit. You're going to be 85 pounds, but you're going to be in a suit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
show you how well we treat. you.
Yeah. So that I thought
man.
that was really eye opening, man. So that was good stuff.
Wow,
12
good
February.
one, Eric. Yeah, very good, man. I don't know where you get these. I'm really surprised when you pull something out now. I'm like, can't we just have a tank battle or something like that? And I was like, nope, he's got something completely different. So
Well, I'll try to make it a little more interesting. So here's something that I heard today that will blow you away. And in regards to history, Jake,
Yeah.
still my moment. Thomas Jefferson,
okay,
John Adams,
yeah, didn't
Declaration.
right?
Declaration of the Independence, right?
Okay.
Both signed it. One was a Federalist, Adams in Massachusetts.
Right.
The other one was Jefferson was from Virginia. These are gentlemen. They didn't like each other.
Right.
But as they got older, became really good friends. Wrote correspondence back and forth, letters, till the day they died.
Huh.
The day they died was July 4th, 1826. 50 years after the signing, they both died on the same day.
What?
Wow.
That's crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I had no idea. I was looking and I found that. I'm like, are you
That's
kidding
pretty
me?
cool.
But they had been writing back and forth. In fact, John Adams' last words was, and Thomas
Suck it,
Jefferson.
Trebek.
He said Thomas Jefferson survived the day, where was Adams' last words. When in actuality, Jefferson had passed like 3 hours before Adams, but on the same day, 4th of July.
He wrote
Jefferson,
that on
not
his
to be-
deathbed?
Not to be outdone in
Last
your
word.
face, Adams.
Damn.
Because they apparently, history has the letters that they wrote back and forth, showed the
Yeah, that's
correspondence
awesome.
and how they became such good friends. Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That
The
was a
guy from-
random weirdo thing, but that was awesome. That
Yeah,
was
it's kinda-
cool.
I was going
I
to
saw
add
that.
to your day in history, actually,
Right on.
before I got shushed.
You did.
I
Yeah.
did shit. I'm
He
sorry.
was speaking.
McCain was in that Operation Homecoming.
Yes, he was.
They
Yeah,
brought
it wa-
him home.
He was also
really?
in Operation Homecoming. Yeah.
It wasn't the older gentleman.
It was the Navy guy who ran with Perot, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't he released?
What was his name?
I don't remember.
Silver haired
Borling.
Stockdale.
Stockdale.
John,
Stockdale.
he was a basketball player for the Jazz.
But this guy came home in the little short shorts, just like the guy for the Jazz.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he did.
There's a lot of
Look out.
Jazz in that homecoming.
Come on.
Short shorts, but a lot of jazz.
No tie.
I don't want to die. Yeah, James Bond Stockdale. He was,
Yeah,
he was
that's
vice admiral, aviator, who was awarded Medal of Honor.
And I feel so bad because that guy was pretty decorated and did a lot of stuff, and then went through all that POW stuff. And SNL just roasted him when he was running for vice president with Perot. So I feel bad. I laughed at the time, but now that I more appreciate what he did, I'm like,
yeah, it's hard. It's hard to.
But the skit was pretty damn funny.
And that's like, it's as much as I think Trump is the right guy. You heard Trump when he talks about guys that were taking POWs. They're losers. They were POWs, and I'm like,
that was a misquote that was taken out of context. He never said that.
Okay.
Actually, that was supposedly heard, but nobody could corroborate that he actually did it. The press ran with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, give me the reference. That
I don't have the reference. I don't.
Because there is no reference.
I just hope he didn't do it because that's a disservice.
Look what really?
That's a disservice.
I mean, of all the goofy things that he does, to accuse him of doing that when he says he's always out there with the troops. I mean, that would be very hard to believe. And he's like, all right, I can throw this off. These guys suck. You know, it's like, really? You would really say that? It's like, I don't think he would say that. But
yeah, I hope not.
Yeah, I hope not too. So, on behalf of that questionable no, I say we're at end up. So, on behalf of all of us here, I'd like to thank you for listening today. Please like, share, subscribe, and let us know how we did in the comments. And make sure next week that you are not late for changeover.
Oh,
that was deep voice.
Thanks for the week, and thanks for everyone listening and watching. And we'll see you next week.
Right on.
Peace out.